Hey yo, how's it going everybody? I hope that you are all doing very well, wherever you may be right now. Ladies and fellasmen, today is the first official day of my bulking season. For those of you who don't know and haven't seen my previous video, not about the one where I died for 3 minutes, but about the one where I lost 50 pounds in 3 months. I recently went on a pretty large weight cut, and while there are a lot of benefits to cutting, there also are a lot of drawbacks. One of them being overall weight loss. And now obviously weight loss is a good thing. However, I didn't only lose the bad kind of weight, I also lost a little bit of the good kind of weight as well. So that is why we're here today, and I am officially going to be starting a bulking season from here until I reach a certain goal or a certain criteria of goals. I have a few picked out in mind, but obviously more are going to come as they go. The last time I hopped on a scale, I was about 193 pounds, and I want to get up to about 215. But with everything in my power, I'm going to keep it as clean as I possibly can. But nonetheless, bulking season has begun, and it is time to go make some gains. I need to get to that before I fall asleep, so let's go ahead and hit some nice back and biceps. So the first thing that we got to start off, and the first thing you should always start off with, obviously, is stretching a little bit. Even if it's a tiny bit, or if you're doing a whole ass yoga session, you always want to stretch before you work out, no matter what. Especially on days where you work pretty big muscle groups like your back or your legs, which are kind of big fundamental parts of your day-to-day life. You always want to stretch, even if it is just the bare minimum, because injuries are not fun. And when you don't stretch, it could definitely lead to injuries, which are not fun. All right, now that I'm warmed up and stretched and feeling versatile, first exercise we're gonna start off with here is some assisted pull-ups. I'm not personally the best at pull-ups, so that's why I always like to start with these first, because I know they're gonna be the biggest flop. And a little tip for anybody out there that is looking to get better at pull-ups as well, and something that I've been trying to incorporate in my training as well, especially when I do these, is really controlling the descent of the pull-up. Anybody could throw a band up here and just, you know, go crazy on the reps and think that they're really good at pull-ups, but in all reality, you're not making that much progress when you're just bouncing around, not really doing anything with the rep. But with these, I usually start with 3 by however many I can get. So without further ado, let's get to it.
On my face, hesitate to give me some. I'ma catch a murder case. On my clock, in this cop mask on my face, hesitate to give me some. I'ma catch a murder case. Shooting on the clock when I get guap, whipping on the scene when I get click, wheeling on the beat, on me, that's it, on me, I take the key, when I'm in, I take the key, when I'm in, I get. Shooting on the clock when I get guap, whipping on the scene when I get click, wheeling on the beat.
Alright, next thing that we'll be running here is some lateral pull downs. With the pull-ups that I just did, it actually kind of perfectly gets me warmed up to do these, because the right muscle groups get warmed up during pull-ups that get used for these, because they're basically the same thing. With these in particular, I do stick with a wider grip on them. I usually grip right about here on the bar, and I usually keep these reps pretty slow, and I usually keep the weight a little bit on the lighter side, just to really focus on that time under tension, which I find to be probably the most effective way for me personally to do these. Because with not only these, but with every exercise that you do, it's more about what's happening to your muscle rather than what's happening to the weight that you're pushing or pulling, you know, if you want to get technical about it. But really just focusing on that time under tension with these especially, but also any workout, is really important.
Hesitate to give me some. I'ma catch a murder case. On my block, in this cop mask on my face. Hesitate to give
So next up, we got some cable rows. Once again, the time under tension is extremely important with this one. And personally, I always like using this semi-wider grip. I know normally people use this super close grip for cable rows. However, for what muscle groups you're actually working on, when you use that super close grip, it doesn't actually really activate them. Cable rows, next on the agenda. All right, so I didn't film it when I was in there, but I finished up that little segment with some back extensions and some, sorry, I just forgot entirely what gym lingo is, but dumbbell rows as well. And just for a little funsies to end off this back part of the workout, we're gonna hit some kettlebell deadlifts. Probably just gonna hit about 5 sets of 10 of these. I don't really put these as like a really big part of the workout, just kind of a little fun thing to end off the back portion of this workout. I used to do straight bar deadlifts, and I'm doing it again. I'm brain farting again. What is going on with me right now? I need to read a book. Trap bar deadlifts. But in doing those and also throwing on a bunch of weight over the years, I have had a couple injuries from that. I have proper form when you do those, and I didn't always have proper form, which led to improper lifting, which led to improper feelings in my back.
I'ma cock my nine, mama. I'ma cock my nine.
All right, just got done with those deadlifts. My butt feels very tight right now. And to finish out this workout entirely, we're gonna go ahead and get the bicep segment of this workout done, which won't be particularly fancy by any means or super intricate. I did chest and arms yesterday, so I already blasted my biceps and my triceps a lot. My exercise ring, it's just closed. Yes, but just as a little bit of like a cherry on top kind of a thing to this workout, just to go ahead and finish off with some seated hammer curls. Let's go ahead and get to it.
I'ma cock my nine, mama.
Okay. So only got 15 there. I know I definitely could have done more, but I felt myself starting to swing on those last couple of reps, which no matter what kind of a curl you are doing, no matter whether it's a burnout set for them or if you're doing just a primary set for, you know, whatever, you never want to swing when you're doing your curls. The whole point of curling is to activate your bicep, and depending on the type of curl you're doing, the tricep as well. And you're not really getting that when you're swinging your arms around like this, you know, trying to do your best imitation of a wild Kazir. But we got 2 more sets of this, and then workouts will be fun. And now I am officially done with the whole workout. And before we're out of here, I gotta do one more thing. Just gonna real quickly do a little overview and also document this for week 1 of the bulk. One of the things I definitely know that I will focus on when I start bulking up more is getting some meat right here on my shoulders. Personally, I've always found a little bit of trouble trying to develop my shoulders. So during this upcoming bulking season, I definitely will be focusing big time on trying to develop my shoulders. Other than that, I will just also be trying to generally just kind of widen out my upper body a little bit. Overall, I'm actually pretty happy with the body fat percentage that I'm currently at, and I aim to try and keep it as close to this as I can. Yeah, it could be a little bit less, but in all honesty, this is a perfectly comfortable, you know, body fat percentage for me to maintain, and that's why I have maintained it for so long. I'm gonna try and keep it as close as I can to this particular percentage whilst I bulk up in weight. However, we will see. Anyways, I'm gonna put a shirt back on now because everyone's looking at me naked. Alrighty, we're now officially all done with the pump, and it is a golden hour now, which looks very lovely. Let me, there we go. Beautiful. Anyways, that is going to conclude it for today's video. If you like this video, then please do leave a like on this video. That's the whole reason that there's a like button there. And if you enjoy my content overall, then please do subscribe to the channel as well. It helps me out a lot. And I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.